Behind the walls of Bogota's biggest female prison, Cassandra Sainsbury can't escape a nightmare.
There are days that are extremely bad for me. Like, I'll get a phone call and that's it. I'll cry for the rest of the day.
She and her legal team must now prove she only attempted to smuggle 5.8 kilos of cocaine out of Colombia because a mystery man named Angelo threatened to kill her family if she didn't. If they fail, this will be Cassie's home for at least the next 21 years and 4 months.
I'm here, but I don't know when it's going to end. Even if it's 20 years that I get sentenced, I know, okay, I'm going to be here for 20 years. That's when it ends. But for me right now, I don't know when it ends.
In 2 days, Cassie will appear in court again to hear for the first time the evidence the prosecution has against her. But the case won't go to trial for at least another 6 months, a full year after her arrest. The 22-year-old insists she has the evidence she needs to be set free.
I was told that my family and partner would be killed.
There's just one problem. It's all on her mobile phone. And as unlikely as it sounds, she can't remember how to unlock it.
So, let me get this straight. We're sitting here behind prison walls. You're facing minimum 21 years and 4 months. And the only evidence that can guarantee you walk out that front gate is on a phone that you say you've forgotten the password to.
I've been trying to remember it, but that's all I can do is try and remember it.
But of course, if those images are not on the phone, if those messages are not there, and if you're telling lies, then all that evaporates, doesn't it? You haven't got any defence at all.
There is still a defence, but that's up to Orlando.
Cassie's lawyer here in Bogota has told us any chance of proving her innocence will rely very heavily on her ability to convince the court that she's an honest and credible person. That's a challenge not helped by the fact that her case has been mired in misinformation and lies from the very beginning. From the moment of her arrest, there's been one question that's proven difficult to answer. Just who is Cassandra Sainsbury? In South Australia, there's been no shortage of allegations about a young woman overly ambitious to break the cycle of debt in which she seemed trapped. And if you believe the stories, it almost makes sense that Cassie would attempt her foolish get-rich-quick trip to Colombia.
She volunteered to look after the Cabowie Tennis Club's finances in September 2020 and had access to 2 bank accounts for online transactions. But
accusations of deceit go back to 2015. Locals from Yorktown say she stole money from the tennis club. But, as always, Cassie has an answer.
There's an affidavit filed with Yorktown Police that claims you stole $3,167. Did you steal that money?
No. And honestly, for me, the person that filed the complaint is actually my ex-boyfriend's uncle. And, the breakup was not nice.
Well, you were treasurer of that club. Is there any money missing?
No.
And then there's the gym Cassie set up in 2015 and claims she left behind unpaid rent when the business failed. Again, Cassie disputes it, and her family says the rent arrears were paid.
There's a lot of people here. The list is starting to stack up. And they're either all wrong and you're right, or there's a few things that you're not telling us.
Right.
There's a few things that you're hiding for whatever reasons that you choose to.
Right.
You're standing by your story. As far as you're concerned, all those people so far have either made a mistake or have singled you out.
Pretty much.
Your sister said that the trip was at least in part to promote your personal training business.
No.
But that wasn't true, was it?
No, it's not completely true.
And when your fiancé was asked about this trip, he said that you helped manage a commercial cleaning business with both national and international clients. That wasn't true either, was it?
No. Basically, that there was a complete misunderstanding.
There's a lot of porky pies going on here, isn't there?
But perhaps the most dubious chapter in Cassie's past, and the one that's raised the most eyebrows, is the secret double life she was leading in the months up to her arrest. In May, we revealed her clandestine career as a prostitute at Club 220, a brothel near Penrith in Sydney's west. According to her working colleagues, she would fly in from Adelaide for shifts and use the pseudonym Claudia.
She would fly in and sometimes she would stay for a week, or sometimes just for 2 or 3 or 4 days.
This woman says she worked alongside Cassie at the brothel. She claimed fellow sex workers were stunned to learn of her arrest in April, and even more shocked to see her mum supporting her in Bogota, because Cassie had told them she was dead.
I did like her. Now I think maybe she's a compulsive liar and a scammer and conniving.
Despite multiple sources confirming Cassie was a sex worker, as well as this revealing photo, Cassie is adamant it's all a lie.
I wasn't a prostitute.
You weren't a prostitute?
No.
You never worked at Club 220?
I did some reception work there, but I wasn't a prostitute.
Why would some of the other working girls say that you were?
I don't know. That's probably something you'd have to ask them. For me, obviously a lot of people have had a lot of digs at me while I've been in prison because I can't defend myself. But...
Well, this is your chance.
No, I'm not a prostitute. There was some work relating with Club 220, but it wasn't prostitution.
Well, it is a brothel.
I know it's a brothel, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm a prostitute.
So for 4 or 5 months, you were what? Fly-in, fly-out receptionist?
So I was there in the period of the 4 and 5 months, but I wasn't there every week, every day.
Why would a business in Penrith pay for a simple receptionist to fly in, fly out?
I think because they were struggling to have receptionists. They were struggling a lot there with that sort of thing, so...
Your supposed fellow co-workers also said that you told them, and in fact took money from them, that your mum was sick on the strength of her being in hospital and then dying. Is that true?
No.
That's not true either?
No.
Why would they make that up?
I don't know.
But just as the interview was becoming a stalemate, Cassie let slip a vital clue about how she really did end up in this situation.
Honestly, right now, with that brothel, there's not a lot I can discuss. Right now. Because everything that happened before and here, it's all linked in my case.
And that revelation of a link between Cassie's arrest and her Sydney connections should be of interest to the Australian Federal Police. It's also a suggestion which is completely at odds with earlier claims she was coerced into being a drug mule after applying for a job on the internet.
How did you get hooked up with them in the first place?
It's something that I can't discuss at the moment.
Did somebody close to you encourage you to do it?
If you're meaning my family, no.
Is it somebody you know?
No. No, but sort of no. Does that make sense?
So it was somebody from the brothel
I'm not saying that.
who got you involved in this?
I haven't said that. I'm just saying that that's linked.
Despite all her contradictions, Cassie maintains she is telling the truth and hopes that she'll be vindicated by the Colombian courts.
Were you ever really threatened, Cassie?
Yes.
Are you just making it up?
No, I'm not making it up. And just because, you know, it's been said in court that right now there's no proof, doesn't mean there isn't proof to be found.
What about people who are watching this program who may form the opinion that there's just this tissue of lies in this whole story. How do you respond to that? How do you deal with that?
I think for me, until people know completely what happened, they shouldn't be forming opinions. They're not, you know, if you were in this situation, you wouldn't want people coming around saying, she did this, she did that, that's what she's doing, she's lying, she's a hooker, she's a drug addict. No, if you're not in this situation, if you don't know what's happening, then, have an opinion, but don't put it out there when you don't know if it's right.
For now, Cocaine Cassie, the nation's highest profile overseas prisoner, is focused on her next court appearance this Tuesday and steeling herself for the very real possibility she could be spending the best part of her life in the worst possible place.
Obviously, I'm hoping to go home. I'm hoping to get on with my life. I know my lawyer is positive, so that's a good thing for me. So right now it's sort of 50-50. So.
Is that what you're giving yourself?
50-50, yes.
Weren't you tempted, though, just to take full responsibility for the whole thing?
Yes.
And just say, look, I just got really greedy. I was just really stupid.
That was the plan for most of it.
I can't believe you're outwardly so calm about this.
I've been here for 5 months. I have come to terms with it. I think...
Come to terms with what? The possibility of staying here for another 20 years?
If it happens, then it happens, and I'm just going to have to deal with it. I'm not going to argue against Colombia. If that's what the judge decides to give me, then that's what I get. Because at the end of the day, the drug was so obviously in my suitcase and in my name, how could I say, no, that's not mine?
Well, you knew it was there.